In the Grand Assembly Hall of Urius, representatives of 150 cosmic species gathered beneath a dome that simulated the birth of stars. The Galactic Council headquarters served as the nexus of interstellar trade, scientific exchange, and diplomatic relations across 17 spiral arms of the Milky Way. Each species had earned their place at this table through technological advancement, cultural achievement, or strategic importance. Dr. Lina Zhao adjusted her formal diplomatic uniform as she prepared for the quarterly session. As Earth's senior diplomat military liaison to the Council, she carried the dual burden of representing humanity's interests while navigating the complex politics of interspecies relations. At 43, she had dedicated 20 years to cosmic diplomacy, rising through Earth's Unified Space Command before her appointment to the Council 5 years ago. "Another day of carefully measured words," she muttered to herself, reviewing her notes on the deep space exploration initiative she would present when Earth's turn came. Beside her sat Varen Tal, the Council's historian, specializing in human communication history. His species, the Arcturans, resembled tall, slender humanoids with iridescent skin that shifted colors with their emotions. Currently, a scholarly blue tinged with anticipatory yellow. "Your species always draws attention," Varen noted, his voice carrying the musical quality characteristic of Arcturans. 100 years since humanity joined the Council, and still, you remain the most vocal members. Lina smiled slightly. It was true. Humans had established themselves as the chattiest species in known space. From the moment Earth developed radio technology, they had broadcast their existence to the cosmos. Music, news, political declarations, entertainment, scientific discoveries. When first contact finally came in 2147, the Zorlak ambassador had famously remarked, "We heard you long before we saw you." Even now, Earth's continuous transmissions formed the backbone of the Council's cultural exchange programs. Human music especially had become a unifying force among species with widely divergent sensory abilities. The relentless human drive to communicate had earned them both admirers and critics among the galactic community. The session began with the traditional opening formalities. Species representatives rose one by one to present their quarterly updates on matters of interstellar importance. The Proximan delegate discussed advances in quantum navigation. The Zarin representative detailed new trade routes through the Perseus Arm. The Zorlak ambassador proposed modifications to the Council's non-interference protocols regarding pre-spaceflight civilizations. When Earth's turn came, the chamber fell into expectant silence. All eyes turned to the human section, but Lina's seat remained conspicuously empty. The Council speaker, a crystalline entity known as Luminoth, hovered in place for several moments before its voice resonated through the chamber. "We note the absence of Earth's delegation. Shall we proceed to the next item?" Murmurs rippled through the assembly. Earth had never missed a scheduled address in its century of Council membership. The Zarin delegate, a reptilian being with scales that gleamed like polished copper, rose to speak. "With respect, Speaker, this is highly irregular. Perhaps we should attempt to establish contact before continuing." The suggestion was approved, and the Council's communication officers immediately dispatched signals to Earth's diplomatic channels. They received no response. Further attempts to reach lunar bases, Mars colonies, and orbital stations yielded the same result: complete silence. As the session continued with growing unease, Lina and Varen were summoned to an emergency meeting in a secure chamber adjacent to the main hall. There, they found senior representatives from the Council's Security Committee waiting. "This is unprecedented," stated Kol Zan, the Proximan security chief, his 4 eyes blinking in alternating pairs, a sign of deep concern among his kind. "All human broadcast channels have gone silent. Not just diplomatic frequencies, but all of them. Entertainment, news, scientific data streams, everything." Lina felt a chill run through her body. That's impossible. When did this begin? Approximately 27 standard hours ago, replied Zan. At first, we assumed it was a technical malfunction in our receiving systems, but comprehensive diagnostics confirmed otherwise. The humans have simply stopped transmitting. Varental's skin had shifted to a deep purple of analytical concentration. In my studies of human communication history, there have been instances of broadcast interruptions, but never on this scale. Never a complete cessation. Lena activated her personal communication device, attempting to reach Earth Command. The screen remained dark. She tried alternative channels, emergency frequencies, even old-fashioned radio bands. Nothing. I need a ship, she declared firmly. I must return to Earth immediately. That may not be advisable, cautioned Zan. The silence could indicate internal conflict, possibly even civil war. Or worse, preparation for aggressive action. Lena fixed the Proximan with a steady gaze. All the more reason I should investigate. As Earth's representative, I have a responsibility to determine what's happening and report back to the Council. After brief deliberation, the Security Committee approved Lena's request, with one condition: Varental would accompany her as the Council's observer. Within hours, they boarded a fast courier vessel and set course for the Sol system. The journey to Earth would take 3 days at maximum speed. During that time, Lena and Varen worked tirelessly, analyzing all available data and developing theories about the sudden silence. In human history, Varen explained, displaying historical records on the ship's holoscreen. Communication blackouts typically preceded significant military actions. Your world wars, the Martian independence conflict, the asteroid belt resource disputes, all featured strategic communication silence before major operations. Lena nodded grimly. But those were targeted blackouts, not a complete cessation of all broadcasts. This is different. As they approached the outer solar system, they detected unusual activity near Proxima Centauri b, Earth's closest stellar neighbor and site of humanity's first extrasolar colony. A research probe, sent to investigate, found the monitoring station there had been mysteriously disabled. Its communication array destroyed with surgical precision. This was deliberate, Lena observed, examining the probe's data. Someone wanted to ensure that particular station couldn't transmit or receive. More disturbing news arrived when they passed Mars. Sensors detected increased military presence and evidence of new weapon systems being tested on the planet's far side. Systems that didn't match any known human technology in the Council's databases. Varen's skin had taken on an anxious gray hue. The historical pattern is becoming clearer. When humans go silent, they're preparing for something significant. By the time they reached Earth orbit, the Council had convened an emergency session. Reports were flooding in from across the galaxy. Human outposts had gone dark simultaneously. Diplomatic missions had vanished without explanation, and trade vessels had altered course to return to Earth space. The ship's sensors revealed a planet that appeared normal on the surface, cities illuminated, atmospheric conditions stable, no signs of large-scale conflict. Yet, the silence persisted. No transmissions, no responses to hails. Nothing. "We're being scanned," announced the ship's AI suddenly. "Multiple targeting systems are tracking us." Before Lena could respond, a tight beam communication laser hit their receiver, the first direct contact from Earth in days. The message was brief: maintain current orbit, await further instructions. Hours passed in tense silence before a small shuttle approached their vessel. When it docked, a single figure emerged: Admiral Jack Petrova, commander of Earth's Defense Forces and Lena's former mentor. "Dr. Zhao," he greeted her formally, then nodded to Varen. "Historian Tal, your presence is both expected and appreciated." "Admiral," Lena responded, struggling to maintain diplomatic composure. "Perhaps you could explain why Earth has gone silent, why I was left uninformed at a council session, and why our colonies are exhibiting unusual military activity. Petrova's weathered face revealed nothing. I'm authorized to bring you both to Earth Command. Explanations will be provided there. The descent to Earth was conducted in stealth mode, their shuttle employing technology that rendered it virtually invisible to conventional detection systems. They landed, not at the sprawling Space Command headquarters in Geneva, but at a hidden facility deep beneath the Pacific Ocean. Inside, Lena was shocked to find a massive operations center humming with activity. Hundreds of personnel monitored screens displaying star charts, fleet movements, and data streams in unfamiliar formats. Yet, despite the evident activity, no signals were being transmitted beyond the facility's shielded walls. They were ushered into a conference room where several high-ranking officials waited. Along with a civilian woman, Lena recognized immediately Dr. Mara Grant, the pioneering quantum communications engineer whose work had revolutionized interstellar networking. Admiral Petrova took his place at the head of the table. Dr. Zhao, what I'm about to share is classified at the highest level. Your Arcturan companion may remain as the Council's witness, but what he reports back must be carefully controlled. Lena felt her patience wearing thin. With respect, Admiral, I represent Earth to the Galactic Council. I should have been informed of any operation significant enough to warrant a complete communications blackout. Your absence was deliberate, Petrova replied evenly. We needed authentic reactions from the Council. If you had known, you might have inadvertently revealed something. Revealed what? Lena demanded. Dr. Grant spoke up, her voice calm but urgent. That we've detected something at the edge of our detection range. Something that hunts civilizations that communicate too openly. For the next hour, Grant and Petrova laid out the evidence. Long-range sensors had detected artificial objects of enormous size, moving methodically through the outer reaches of the galaxy. These entities, which Earth Command had designated harvesters, appeared to follow specific patterns, investigating systems that produced high volumes of electromagnetic communications. 3 months ago, we lost contact with our deep space monitoring post near the Oort cloud, Petrova explained. The final transmission included fragmented sensor data, showing something impossibly large approaching. When we sent a stealth vessel to investigate, they found the station completely stripped of all technology, not destroyed, but surgically harvested. Grant activated a holographic display showing the recovered data. Analysis of the harvesting pattern matched historical records of unexplained technological disappearances from other civilizations. The Zarin lost 3 outer colonies 2 centuries ago. The Proxima Deep Space Telescope Array vanished 30 years back. All were high broadcast facilities. The pattern became clear, Petrova continued. These harvesters are attracted to electromagnetic chatter, and humanity has been the noisiest species in the galaxy since we discovered radio. Lena felt a cold realization dawning. So you implemented a galaxy-wide communications blackout? Operation Silent Shield, Grant confirmed. We developed a quantum entanglement communication network that allows instantaneous transmission without electromagnetic emissions. We've been deploying it secretly for years as a contingency. 3 days ago, we activated it and shut down all conventional communications simultaneously. But why not inform the Council? Varin asked, his skin now a troubled violet blue. Petrova's expression hardened. Because we don't know who else might be listening. The Council chambers host representatives from 150 species, many with their own agendas. Information security would be impossible. And there's another reason, added Grant softly. We've found evidence suggesting some civilizations might have known about the harvesters all along. Species that mysteriously reduced their communications footprint centuries ago. Shortly after first detecting these entities, Lena processed this information with growing alarm. You're suggesting Council members deliberately withheld information about an existential threat? We're suggesting that self-preservation is a universal instinct, Petrova replied. Some may have decided that warning others would only increase attention to their own regions of space. The implications were staggering. If true, it meant the peaceful cooperation of the Galactic Council masked a darker reality. Species willing to let others face destruction rather than risk drawing attention to themselves. "We need your help, Dr. Zhao," Grant said earnestly. "We've developed technology that can shield all Council worlds from detection, but implementing it requires cooperation. We need you to convince the Council without creating panic or revealing too much about the harvesters until protective measures are in place." Lena considered her options carefully. The Council is already speculating. Some believe Earth is preparing for war, possibly against other member species. We need to provide some explanation before these fears escalate into actual conflict. "That's why we've arranged a special session," Petrova informed her. "In 12 hours, you'll address a closed meeting of senior council representatives. You'll need to be persuasive without revealing the full threat." As they prepared for the critical meeting, Varental worked closely with Lena, analyzing historical patterns of interspecies communication during crises. His expertise in how different civilizations interpreted silence proved invaluable. "The Zorlak view communication cessation as an act of mourning," he explained. "The Proximan interpret it as technological failure. The Zaren, with their military history, see it as battle preparation." "And what do the Arcturans think?" Lena asked, studying his color-shifting skin. "We see it as transformation," Varen replied thoughtfully. "When a species falls silent, they are either evolving or dying, undergoing fundamental change." This insight helped shape Lena's approach. Rather than denying Earth's military preparations, she would position them as part of a broader transformation in human communication technology. A partial truth that might satisfy multiple interpretations. Meanwhile, Dr. Grant briefed them on the quantum network that had replaced conventional communications. The beauty of entangled particles is that they share states instantaneously across any distance without electromagnetic transmission. There's nothing for the harvesters to detect. But establishing entanglement requires physical distribution of the paired particles, Lena pointed out. "How did you manage to deploy this across all human territories without the Council noticing?" Grant smiled thinly. "We didn't. We've been integrating quantum communication nodes into standard trade goods for decades. Every Council world that trades with Earth already has the infrastructure in place. They just don't know it yet." The revelation sent a chill through Lena. Earth had been preparing for this moment for years, placing dormant technology throughout Council space without disclosure, a clear violation of technology sharing protocols. The diplomatic implications were enormous. When the time came for the special Council session, tensions had reached a breaking point. Multiple factions had formed among the member species, those advocating for military intervention against Earth, those counseling diplomatic patience, and those recommending withdrawal and self-protection. The session began with accusations. The Zaren representative spoke first, his copper scales flashing aggressively. "Earth's silence and military mobilization can only be interpreted as preparation for conflict. Our intelligence confirms weapons testing on Mars, unlike anything previously disclosed to the Council." The Proximan delegate followed with similar concerns. "We have detected unusual activity near our borders. Human vessels have altered course without explanation. We must consider the possibility that Earth intends aggressive action." One by one, representatives voiced their fears, their anger, their suspicions. When all had spoken, Lena rose to address the assembly. The chamber fell into expectant silence. "Esteemed representatives," she began, her voice steady despite her internal turmoil. "Earth apologizes for the alarm our silence has caused. What you have witnessed is not preparation for war against any Council member, but rather the implementation of a new secure communication protocol." She activated the chamber's holographic display, showing simplified schematics of the quantum network. "For security reasons, The transition required a complete shutdown of conventional systems. The military activity you've observed is defensive in nature, protecting the new infrastructure during this vulnerable transition period. The explanation was met with skepticism. The Zorlak ambassador, a being composed of luminous gas contained within an environmental suit, pulsed with doubt. This unprecedented action was taken without council notification. Such secrecy suggests ulterior motives. Lena had anticipated this response. We propose a demonstration of both our intentions and our new capabilities. If the Council will permit it, we will share access to this quantum network with all member species, beginning immediately. Before representatives could respond, the chamber's main screen activated, showing a live feed from the outer reaches of Zarin space. 6 sleek Earth vessels, previously undetected by Council sensors, appeared suddenly in formation. In the background, a Zarin mining colony was under attack by what appeared to be a pirate fleet, a notorious band of renegades that had plagued that sector for years. As the Council watched in stunned silence, the Earth vessels engaged the pirates. The battle was brief and decisive. Within 5 minutes, the pirate fleet had been neutralized with precision strikes that avoided all civilian infrastructure. The Earth ships then vanished from conventional detection again, though the quantum feed continued to track them. Admiral Petrova's voice came through the quantum channel, addressing the Council directly. This demonstration serves 2 purposes. First, to show that Earth could have launched surprise attacks against any Council world had that been our intention. We chose instead to defend our Zarin allies against a known threat. The Zarin representative's scales had shifted to a deep blue of shock and grudging respect. Our colony sent no distress call. How did you know they were under attack? Our quantum network has been monitoring key installations throughout Council space, Petrova admitted. Again, not for aggressive purposes, but as part of a broader security initiative that we are now prepared to share. Lena seized the moment. What you're witnessing is not Earth's withdrawal from the galactic community, but rather our commitment to its security. We propose immediate integration of all Council worlds into this quantum communication network, with joint control and complete transparency. The chamber erupted in a mix of outrage and interest. Some representatives demanded explanations for the covert placement of quantum technology on their worlds. Others were already calculating the strategic advantages of undetectable communications. Varental, observing from the sidelines, noted how the colors flowing through the chamber shifted from angry reds toward curious purples and cautious greens. The demonstration had achieved its purpose, transforming fear into fascination. As the debate continued, Lena received a private message through her quantum link. It was from Dr. Grant. Harvester entities changing course, now moving toward Zarin space where the battle occurred. Conventional emissions from weapons fire may have attracted attention. Lena's blood ran cold. The demonstration had unintentionally created the very risk they were trying to prevent. She needed to accelerate the Council's acceptance without revealing the immediate threat. Rising again to address the Assembly, she spoke with new urgency. Honorable representatives, there is more at stake than diplomatic protocols. The quantum network must be fully activated within 72 hours across all Council territories. Earth is prepared to share all technical specifications and provide implementation assistance immediately. The Proximan security chief, Kol Zahn, fixed his 4 eyes on Lena with intense scrutiny. You have not told us everything, Dr. Zhao. What drives this urgency? Lena exchanged glances with Varen, whose skin had shifted to the clear decision blue of Arcturan revelation. With a subtle nod, he encouraged her to proceed. There is a threat approaching from the galactic rim, she acknowledged, choosing her words carefully. A technological entity that responds to conventional communications. We believe it has been responsible for the disappearance of several deep space installations over the centuries. This partial revelation sent ripples of alarm through the chamber. The Zorlak ambassador pulsed rapidly with agitation. You speak of the Silence Bringers, the devourers of technology that our oldest legends warn about. Similar murmurs of recognition spread among other species. Different names, similar concepts. Ancient warnings about entities that hunted civilizations that spoke too loudly into the void. You knew, Lena realized, her voice barely containing her shock. Your species had encountered them before. Not encountered, corrected the ancient Zorlak. Observed from afar. Survivors told stories. We learned to modulate our transmissions, to speak quietly among the stars. One by one, representatives acknowledged similar legends or historical incidents within their own civilizations. Cautionary tales about broadcasting too boldly. Some had dismissed these as superstition. Others had implemented subtle precautions without explicitly warning other species. Then you understand why we must act quickly, Lena pressed. Earth's silence was not an act of aggression but of protection, for ourselves and potentially for all Council worlds. The Zarin representative, still processing the unexpected rescue of his colony, rose to support Earth's proposal. The humans have demonstrated both capability and intention. If this threat is real, their quantum network offers our best defense. A coalition began to form as more representatives aligned with Earth's position. The Council speaker called for a formal vote on implementing the quantum communication system across all member worlds. The motion passed with overwhelming support. In the days that followed, Earth vessels delivered quantum communication specialists to key Council worlds, beginning with those nearest to the approaching harvester entities. Dr. Grant personally oversaw the acceleration of the network's activation, working tirelessly with teams from multiple species. Lena and Varen coordinated the diplomatic aspects, managing the inevitable tensions that arose during the rapid implementation. Some worlds resisted having Earth personnel operating on their planets. Others demanded greater access to the technology than security protocols allowed. Admiral Petrova, meanwhile, assembled a joint defense fleet incorporating vessels from 17 species, positioned as a last line of defense should the quantum shield fail to hide Council worlds from the approaching threat. 7 days after Earth's silence had first alarmed the Council, the quantum network achieved full coverage across all member territories. Conventional communications remained offline, maintained only by automated beacons in uninhabited systems designed to draw the harvesters away from populated worlds. From a secure observation post at the edge of Zarin space, Lena, Varen, and representatives from the Council Security Committee watched as the first harvester entity entered the sector where the pirate battle had occurred. The entity defied easy description. Vast, beyond comprehension. It resembled a lattice of dark material that absorbed rather than reflected light, stretching across thousands of kilometers. It moved with purpose toward the automated beacons, extending filaments that seemed to analyze the electromagnetic spectrum with methodical precision. It's searching for the source of the weapon signatures, Dr. Grant observed, monitoring the quantum sensors that remained undetectable to the entity. The beacons are successfully diverting its attention from the Zarin colony. For 3 tense days, they observed the harvester's behavior. It systematically investigated the decoy beacons, absorbing some entirely while leaving others partially intact. Analysis suggested it was collecting specific technologies and energy signatures, though for what purpose remained unclear. On the 4th day, a second harvester entity appeared, joining the first in its methodical harvesting. Then a third. Soon, a fleet of 7 massive entities had converged on the sector, communicating among themselves through unknown means. They're coordinating, Admiral Petrova noted grimly. This isn't random scavenging. It's organized extraction. The revelation prompted an emergency council session conducted entirely through the quantum network. Representatives viewed the harvester footage with growing alarm, recognizing the existential threat these entities pose to technological civilization. We cannot remain silent forever, argued the Proximan delegate. Civilization requires communication, commerce, culture, scientific advancement. All depend on the exchange of information. Yet we cannot return to our previous vulnerability, countered the Zarin representative. The quantum network provides security, but its coverage is limited to council space. What of expansion, exploration, contact with new civilizations? The debate continued for hours, until Varental requested permission to address the assembly. His skin had taken on the deep gold of historical insight, a rare coloration that commanded attention from all present. Throughout galactic history, he began, civilizations have faced existential threats that forced adaptation. The Zorlak survived stellar radiation by developing their gaseous forms. The Proximan overcame resource depletion through dimensional storage technology. Humans survived their climate crisis through radical energy transformation. His skin rippled with emphatic purpose. Each crisis catalyzed evolution. The Harvesters present not just a threat, but an opportunity for unified response, something unprecedented in Council history. Varen's perspective shifted the conversation from fear toward purpose. Representatives began proposing adaptive strategies, development of communication methods undetectable to the Harvesters, joint research into the entity's origins and motivations, and coordinated defense protocols that wouldn't depend solely on silence. Dr. Grant presented a promising approach. The quantum network can be expanded using automated probes that establish new entanglement pairs beyond council space. We can create a communication corridor that extends our reach without increasing our electromagnetic footprint. Admiral Petrova outlined a defense strategy. Joint fleet exercises conducted under quantum coordination, with strict emissions control. We can develop our capabilities without attracting attention. As the Council unified around these initiatives, the immediate crisis transformed into a catalyst for unprecedented cooperation. Species that had maintained careful diplomatic distance found common cause in facing the Harvester threat. 3 months after Earth's silence had first alarmed the galaxy, a new equilibrium began to emerge. Conventional communications resumed on a limited basis, carefully modulated to avoid patterns that might attract the Harvesters. The quantum network served as the primary channel for sensitive information, with joint control shared among Council races. Human broadcasts, once the most prominent in the galaxy, returned in measured form. Earth's music, literature, and scientific discourse flowed once more between worlds, but with newfound awareness of their potential consequences. When humans spoke now, other species listened with greater attention, recognizing that those who had fallen silent had done so for reasons worth heeding. In the council chambers, Lena found her role transformed. Once merely Earth's representative, she now co-chaired the Harvester Response Committee, working closely with delegates from species that had previously viewed humans with suspicion. The shared crisis had fostered trust that centuries of conventional diplomacy had failed to build. Varental's historical research gained new prominence as well. His work analyzing communication patterns across civilizations provided crucial insights for developing detection systems that could provide early warning of Harvester activity. His collaboration with Dr. Grant resulted in a comprehensive theory of safe communication protocols that balanced openness with security. Admiral Petrova, initially viewed with alarm by many council members, emerged as a respected strategist whose cautious approach to military readiness reassured rather than threatened. His frequent statement, "We do not seek conflict, but if threatened, we will act decisively," became something of a mantra for the Joint Defense Initiative. 1 year after the silence, Lena stood at the observation dome of Urius, gazing at the simulated starbirth that illuminated the Council headquarters. Varen joined her, his skin a contemplative blue-green. "The silence transformed us all," he observed. "Not just humans, but every Council species." Lena nodded. "Crisis reveals character, true for individuals and civilizations alike. The ancient Arcturan philosophers had a saying," Varen offered. "When the voice ceases, the action begins." Your species demonstrated this wisdom, though at considerable diplomatic risk. We nearly fractured the council, Lena acknowledged. The line between prudent security and deceptive manipulation is thin. Yet the outcome justified the approach, Varen countered. The quantum network now connects worlds that once barely acknowledged each other's existence. Joint fleet exercises include species that previously refused to share space lanes. Their conversation was interrupted by a priority alert on Lena's quantum communicator. Admiral Petrova's image appeared, his expression serious, but not alarmed. Dr. Zhao, the Deep Space Monitoring Network has detected unusual activity at the galactic rim. Not harvesters, something different. The Council Security Committee requests your presence immediately. As they hurried to the secure chamber, Varen's skin shifted to the purple of analytical anticipation. Perhaps the next evolution begins already. Lena felt a familiar tension return, the weight of representing humanity in matters of cosmic significance. Yet now, that weight was shared among allies who had witnessed Earth's silence and understood its meaning. When the voice ceases, action begins, she repeated Varen's philosophical quote, a lesson worth remembering. The galaxy had learned to fear humanity's silence, and that fear had transformed into respect. Whatever new challenge approached from the galactic rim would face not isolated civilizations, but a unified response, coordinated through whispers that crossed light years without speaking aloud to the void. As the security chamber doors opened to reveal representatives from 17 species gathered around holographic displays of the mysterious phenomenon, Lena recognized the truth that had emerged from crisis. In a dangerous cosmos, the strongest voice might be the one wise enough to know when to fall silent, and when to speak again with purpose.